Joan, now we're ready for the student activity. Where can the teachers get the materials they need for the activities?
They're going to go right here to the virtual campus and download the lesson plan and the vocabulary definitions. Then they'll need to gather the materials. Let's take a look. This is what the lesson plan will look like when they first see it. They'll download it. It's self-complete. It's got the student handouts included with it. Along with that, it will be a list of definitions for various vocabulary terms that I think will be really helpful for the children to experience some of the terms they may come up against in this lesson that they won't see in some of their other materials. Then we also want them to know what the basic terms are for life functions. Notice metabolism is there at the top of the list. And that's really what we're going to be looking at when we do this activity. Next are the materials. So the materials that the students are going to use, and we're recommending that our student groups be in a group of 3 to 4 students. They'll need 4 small bottles, 4 balloons, 2 packages of baker's yeast, a basin filled with warm tap water, a basin filled with ice water, a heating source for the warm water, 3 thermometers at least, 2 measuring spoons, measuring cups, a magnifying lens, and metric rulers. So let's look at those materials.
I see right here we have thermometers, and we can use different kinds of thermometers.
Yes, whatever the teacher has available.
Okay, and also notice we have a magnifying glass.
Good thing to look at those particles of yeast before we do anything with them.
Okay, another interesting thing here, we have a ruler, and they're going to be measuring circumference. How are they going to use a ruler to measure circumference?
Isn't that a tricky one? What do you think, Rudo? Use a piece of string, wrap it around the circumference of the balloon, lay it across the ruler.
That sounds
Okay.
good. All right, so we can use a string.
Sure.
And then what about the size of the bottle? Is this the right size of bottle to use, or
It can
we use
be.
smaller?
It can be. The teacher can use whatever is available. Probably the smaller the better. Definitely nothing larger than this, but they could use one that's half that size as well.
And I'm seeing some round balloons.
Yes.
And we have a stopwatch.
Yes.
And our sugar.
Yes.
And here's our yeast.
Yes.
Okay, I think now we're ready to see.
We're ready to take a look at the students who performed this activity for us and see how things came out for them.
Now, we've got 4 bottles, okay, and this is what we're going to add to the bottles. So this is just kind of an overview of what's going to happen. In each of the bottles, A, B, C, and D, we're going to add yeast. So every bottle is going to have yeast. We're going to put 1 teaspoon of yeast in each bottle, and each bottle is going to have sugar, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Okay, now, in bottles B, C, and D, we're going to add a half a cup of water. Why do you suppose we're not going to put any water in bottle A?
Have a control.
Okay, have a control. What do you think? What's a control?
To compare the change to.
That's right, to compare the change to. Excellent. So we want to see if there's a change. It's due to the things we do over here, okay, and not here. So we're just going to add the solids to this bottle and just set it aside. Okay? And then a half a cup of water to each B, C, and D. And then we're going to vary the conditions of B, C, and D by what? What are we going to vary about B, C, and D?
Temperature.
Sarah, right, we're going to vary temperature. So we're going to have room temperature, which we just let's set it out. We're going to have 1 set in warm water, and you have a basin of warm water at your desk, and 1 set in cold water, a basin of ice water at your desk. Now we need to know the temperature, okay, so we have some digital thermometers we're using today, and you all know how to use those, so we're going to have to know the temperature of the cold, the temperature of the warm water, and the temperature of the room. Which one do you think you ought to measure first?
The room.
Very good. Why would we measure the room temperature first? Davis?
Probably because the thermometer would be less affected by the temperature of the room instead of the ice water or the hot water.
Okay, that's what we're measuring right now, isn't it? Right now it's measuring room temperature, so we'll get that first, and then go from the hot water to the cold water. We want to be sure when we add the water, okay, to each of these, okay, the reaction is going to start, hopefully. So we want to get our way to measure the gas. And how are we going to measure the gas today? What are we going to look at?
The inflation of the balloon.
Inflation of the balloon, right. Tony's going to say the same thing. We've got the balloon inflation, right? So we want to try and get the balloons on all at the same time. So have a bottle ready, and as soon as we add the water, okay, we want to put the balloons on. So and try and get them on about the same depth on the top of the bottle.